you want to kick us off or?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everyone. Mama and I here back to bring you another session for JustGo. I'm Shanoa from a pony club in Queensland, and I'm quite a passionate JustGo user and absolutely love the system. And Monel is, of course, our JustGo man, the
Hi,
help
everyone.
man that everyone needs when something goes wrong or they need a question. So welcome, Monel, as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Shona.
Alrighty. So this session tonight actually kind of runs on from last week's session, which was just really basic how to set up a muster or a rally, depending on what state you're in and what your club calls them. This one moves into a clinic, or you could also use the way that we're setting up tonight for a clinic as part of your rally if you wanted to ask certain questions of your members as they're nominating. And of course, it really also then runs into next week's session, which is going to be more about running an event through JustGo and setting that event up. So I'm going to go through the first part quite quickly because, of course, last week we had already created that event, which was our muscle or our rally. So I'm going to create another one but I'll run you through nice and quickly. So I'm using our Yandina profile for this. So we're going to go into our menu over here on our left screen. We're going to select our event management tile. And we are going to add a new event, which you can see up here. My internet's a little bit slow tonight due to so much rain in the last few weeks. So I'm going to add a new event. And I'm going to call this one a PCA jumping clinic. And that is so I can distinguish it from our club events. All right, so we're going to the category and we are going to select club events. And then we're going to pop in our address. I'm actually just going to pop in our new address of our grounds. And you'll see over here that it comes up on the map. Alrighty. Okay, make sure you select the correct time zone. That's rather important for wherever you may be in the country. All right, then the next thing we're going to do is select the date. So I'm actually going to set this one up. This is obviously not a real event, but I'm going to set it up for Saturday, the 13th of April. All right, now, do I want to apply these new dates to my ticket availability dates? So if I want my tickets to finish, and I'll run you through this, of course, in a moment, to close, sorry, on the event date, then I'm going to click yes. Most of us are going to click no because we obviously want our dates to finish just before our event starts so we can get our nominations in. So it doesn't matter if you choose yes, because you can go and delete those dates. So I'm just going to choose no, and I'll show you and explain that to you when I get into the tickets. All right, so I'm going to start my event from 7 a.m. and the end date is also going to be the 13th. It's just a one-day clinic. So, and I'm going to run that through till, I'm going to do my last lesson at 4 o'clock. So, okie dokie. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload an event image. I love Canva. I use it for absolutely everything. And I'm just going to click on the image that I pre-prepared. These are photos of my children because then it's not, I don't need to worry about asking anyone else permission. This is a Facebook event cover, which we use for all of our different events and clinics at our club. So if you wanted to zoom in and not have the images and move it around, you can do that, or you can move it out. I haven't actually found yet, and Monel can correct me if he knows. I haven't found the correct setting for Canva to actually fit this perfect. Monel, have you?
Yeah, it's a very tricky one. I think I did help one of the club before, but I'll have to check and get back to you about this.
That's all right. Thought
Yeah.
I'd ask you while you're there. So we click on done, and then that's actually going to be the photo for our event that people will see when they're nominating. Then we get into our event details. So I have pre-prepared some wording just on a PDF, doesn't matter where you get it from. I'm just going to copy and paste that. And then if you like, of course, then you can put the whole thing in the center. And if you wanted to, just like an email, you can do lots of different things. You can make things bold. You can give it italics as well. You can create different fonts as well. You can also link. So a great idea, of course, for any event is to link the PCA gear check rules. And also you can pop some images in there, and you can upload a file there as well for them to see too. There's lots of things you can do in here. So we're going to keep moving on to that. So on past that, I should say, event contacts. So this is basically who's going to be seen by the people who are trying to nominate, and if they need to get in contact with you. Now, this is obviously me. What happens here is it's going to give my club email, my personal email, which I don't want to do that. I can change it to my club email, and then you can change phone number if you need to, give it yourself a role, and you can have multiple people. So there's lots of different roles that you can pop in there. And we're going to go done. And of course, you can delete that or edit it if you need to as well. And you can add multiple, but just by doing the same process again. So we get down here to event tickets. Now, I'm going to show you how you can set up this particular event is going to be about a group, sorry, clinic, should say, just as a clarification there. So it's going to be about 4 people in each group. And because, of course, as a club administrator, you want to make sure that you're having the same type of rider in each hour session, for example, you need to make sure that they're, of course, at the same level. So there's 2 ways of doing this. The first way, which I'm going to show you, is that you're just going to put in jump clinic, and I'm going to put and lunch because I did that on the advertisement, and I'll explain to you why I'm doing that in a moment. And I'm going to make the ticket $100, nice and even amount. And the quantity available, I know that I can fit 32 riders in that time frame, riding 2 sessions. So 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and then they get lunch in the middle of the day. So that's my 32. So I'm going to click on the green tick, and you can see that. I'm also going to create a new ticket as well, because we all have supporters and parents and guardians. And I'm going to pop in clinic, lunch. Okay, and this one's just going to be $5. And doesn't really matter how many that is. So I'm just going to say 50 and tick green box. So what this means is that they're going to come in and say it's a mum nominating for their 10-year-old child. They're going to click on this one for their child, and then they can click on this one for themselves. So after you do that process, you're going to go into the little cog, and we're in the actual ticket details. Okay, so this is our jump clinic and lunch ticket. So we can leave everything here the same. Do we want to set ticket availability dates? Yes, we do. So we're going to click on that box. Now, my apologies, I did miss this last week. And it is quite important, especially if you are, say, for example, wanting to close tickets on, so close your nominations on, for example, a Tuesday night for a Saturday event, so that you can get your draw or your timetable going. So don't worry about the booking start date. That is a default date. You can just leave it there, unless you don't want it to start as soon as you are publishing this event. So if you want to open the tickets from, let's say, the 1st of April, then you would put in here the 1st of April. Okay, so I'm going to just leave that like that, but you could just go through and change the date. So the booking end date, now I did say I want to do this, have this clinic here. So I'm going to close that on Wednesday night. That gives me a couple nights to get the timetable sorted and get it out. So then I'm going to go through and I'm going to say we normally close at 10 o'clock. So we've got our quantity available is 32. Now, what you will find here is that you might have riders that have 2 horses. If you know in your club that you have riders that have 2 horses, you might want to do that. Okay, so that means that one rider in their own profile can select the ticket twice for 2 different horses. If you don't want to have a rider that has multiple horses, then you're going to select prevent multiple booking. Just a little side note here, these little boxes here have great information. So if you're not sure about what something means, please just hover over the little speech box, can't speak. Now, very briefly, again, like I did last week, we will go over this and all the pro options in weeks coming. The installment payments are brilliant. Our club uses them for our big camps that we have twice a year. This is a JustGo Pro feature, and very much worth its weight in gold because it has saved me as the secretary so much time making sure that everyone's paying and paying on time. It's all automatic. You set it all up. So I'm going to skip through that because we won't go over that tonight. Tax options, no, never need to do that unless your club is I guess doing GST, which not many clubs do. Okay, so we're going to talk about this for a little while now. Ticket restrictions, discount, and surcharges. So a restriction, this is the way that you get around members who are not financial members joining. Nominating, my apologies. So if you have a member who hasn't nominated, hasn't renewed for the year, they can't, if we set this restriction up, they actually can't nominate for this event at all. And a little message will actually pop up, which I'll show you how to make that happen. The discounts. So at our club, when we run a clinic, we do it for, of course, our members, but it's great to get a little bit of money on the side as well. So our members get a discounted rate for our clinics, and our members from anywhere else, it doesn't matter what zone, or if you're on a state border as well, you can discount your own members, but then everyone else has to pay that. And for this ticket, it was $100. So we'll show you how to do that. Surcharge. If you would like to add a surcharge, for example, a first aid levy to an event or whatever it is that you're running, and you need it to come out so that it's itemized, then that's where you're going to add that in. So let's go through, and we are going to go to restrictions. So we're going to add a restriction to stop people who are non-financial members from nominating. So we're going to go add the new purchase rule. And it's going to say, I'm going to call it non-financial members. So this is going into a little bit more depth. We'll do this part again next week as well as the next part. And so please follow through with this one. Once you get this, it's really, really handy as a event coordinator. So then we're going to go add the new rule, and a new screen's going to pop up. So I'll click on that. Okay, so what we want is we want the rule. We want to go down to membership or affiliation rules, and we want to say member has any of the following memberships. So we're going to add that one, and we get back to this screen here. So member has any of the following memberships, and we click on the little green tick, and it's going to show up. Now, if I was just wanting only Yandina riders to see this, these are our membership settings. So when you set up your membership at the start of the year and you have your big list, these are our ones. So yours won't say that because, of course, they're not in your settings. So what you do is you scroll through and you find the options that you want. So we are going to go through and look, if you're on a club, a state line, and you have riders that cross over and join in, you're probably going to select any NGB membership. That's correct, isn't it, Monal?
Yeah. So just to explain, any NGB membership means any national sport organization membership. So the JustGo terminology for NSO is NGB. So this will mean that the member has any of the Pony Club Australia membership, which could be from all the different states.
Yeah, great. Otherwise, you're going to just go through and go any club membership. So that's what I'm going to select tonight. Now you want to leave it on the booking date, and we are actually going to take off include cart checking. Let me just explain cart checking. So if you have a member, for example, that says, oh, I really want to do that jump clinic, but I'm not yet a member, so I'm going to do it all at once. So cart checking does this. If they put in their membership and then they put this in, and then they try to put this in, it actually won't let them. They need to be an actual financial member already paid, because they could go ahead and do that and pop in their membership and then put in their nominations for this, and then then they get to the checkout and remove their membership, and it will still let them pay for this. So we want to take that off. And look, I know majority of members are great, but you're always going to have some who, we have a camp coming up, and I have 3 riders who are still not members, and I've told them you've got a week and a half. And this is something that Monel has taught me, and I will be using that in all of our events as from now on. So then I'm going to go save. So what this means is that only, let me go back to here, only riders who are financial members can select this clinic. So then I'm going to go across to discounts, because as I mentioned, I want to give our club members discounts. So we're going to follow the same process. Add a new discount rule, and I'm going to call it YDPC member discount. And this amount is the amount of discount that you want to give them. So I want to give them a $20 discount. So I'm going to pop in $20. I personally find giving a whole dollar amount much easier than a percentage. And the explanation would be that it is a member discount. Okay, so we're going to add the rule. Same thing, the screen's going to pop up again, and we're going to go down to this one here. There are other ways to select this, which we'll show you in coming weeks, but I just thought we'll just do the same process for these 2 so that it's a little bit easier on you. So member has any of the following memberships, and because this is our club membership, I'm going to go and select our club riding members. So we give our riding members a discount if they've got second or subsequent, and I also have some riding coaches. Okay. All right, so that is our list, and they're all listed in there. Remember, we want to untick the cart checking because we want to make sure that they are members prior to our club, prior to actually being able to select this. And we're going to save. All right, now, so the surcharges would be exactly the same thing. We're not going to go through that tonight, but you can see we click on restrictions. We've got that financial member one, and the discounts. We've got our member discount. Okay, now display ticket, even if restriction rules prevent purchasing. Yes, we're going to do that, and then we're going to explain why. So you can just say must be a PC financial member prior to nominations. Okay, nice and easy. And then what we're going to do here is obviously this. Yeah, Monel, sorry.
Yeah. So the reason that Shiona is ticking the checkbox is that she wants to show the member that the ticket is available. So what happens if she takes the checkbox off is that the ticket will not be visible to the member, and then sometimes the member will call up the club asking, "I can see the ticket, what's going on," and then the club has to do all the running and explaining. So this helps them to show the ticket is there, but you're not eligible for the ticket, and the reason that she's put in there will pop up to the member saying, "Okay, you need to buy a membership, then only you'll be able to purchase this ticket." Sorry about that, Shiona. Continue,
no,
please
don't say sorry. Thank you so much. That's great. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so now the forms. A form is what we're going to go into next. When I talk about forms, I'd like you to think about when your child brings home a form from school that you need to fill in because there's information that you need to give the teachers or the school. So that's a really great way to try and think about that. If you don't have children, I'm sure you filled out forms in your life as well. So this is actually a form. This is the event waiver and liability. This is the PCA one, and it is on every single event that you create that is a club event. And this is a default. So you can't get rid of this one, so don't try. So what we're going to do is I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and I'm going to show you how to create one of these forms. So this is where you would, if you were not adding a form, which is what we didn't do last week because we wanted to keep it nice and simple last week. This is where you would say done. Now, what I'm going to do is, we will have to do that in a moment because I want to show you how to make the form. But I'm going to show you first, when you click on here and you click on add form, it's going to open up a new window. And these are all, apart from the waiver, the PCA waiver, these are actually our Yandina forms. So as we get down, all this international, there we go. So these are our forms that we have created. I'm not going to stop and show you them all, but these are the ones that we have created for our club. Anything in blue is actually the heading and what you would select. So we're going to go and create one of these. It's in a different screen. And then we're going to come back to this screen. And when I click on add form, we'll be able to find that form that we've just created. So I'm going to say done. And I'm going to save it as a draft. Okay. Alrighty, so then we go to, I'm going to go return to summary, which is our event summary. So these are all Yandina events. So then we're going to go back to our menu and we're going to go to Field Management Club. Now I have a little group up here of my favorite club ones, which is tiles that I go into almost on a daily basis at the moment. Otherwise, you would just obviously scroll down to My Club and you're going to go Field Management Club. And it's really vital that you make sure that you go across to the event booking overview tab. So think about when someone is booking into an event, they're going to fill out this form. So you click on that one first. And these are, as I mentioned, these are all the ones that we have created in our club that we use quite often. And I'm going to add a new form. All right. And this is just as simple as you're creating the form. So my form name is going to be Jump Clinic Questions. Now, I think I have a Jump Clinic Questions form already created for our club. So I'm just going to put a 2 there just in case it says, hey, you can't do that. You can choose a little icon in here and there's a little horse somewhere in there. You can go through and find that. And then what we're going to do is, we don't want to hide it from our members because of course we want them to fill it out. We are going to create the form. We're going to build it. So we're going to add a field. So we're going to click on that one. And this is actually how you add your questions. So my first question is going to be, what height are you currently competing? Because remember, this is a jump clinic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select here, I'm going to select the check boxes option. So I'm going to say not currently competing because of course we are trying to ensure that we are catering for all riders. 45 centimeters. Now obviously everyone's state looks slightly different. It's obviously going to be up to your discretion. I'm just throwing in some random ones here. 1 meter plus. Okay, now the next thing you want to make sure that you do is you want to click on require. That means they cannot go past this form until they have clicked this. Okay, that's really important. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add another field. So this is one field, so one question. So I'm going to add a second question. And I'm also going to ask, what height are you currently training? Because it's just going to give us a little bit more, and I'm going to choose checkboxes again, a little bit more of an idea of what I can, I just lost my train of thought. My apologies. A bit more of a broader idea of your riders that are coming to your clinic, especially if they're from out of clubs. And so you can go through and you can do all of this again, and then you can realize what I just realized and went, oh, I could have just copied this. So I'm actually going to delete that. And I'm going to go back into this one and I'm going to copy it. And I'm just going to change this. What height are you currently training? And I'm going to pop in this one here as, say, 30 centimeters. Okay, so everything is still there. It is just a slightly different question. And then because we're giving them lunch at this clinic as well, I'm going to add a dietary requirement question, but I'm going to use a different type. So I'm going to just type in, do you have, any dietary requirements? And I'm going to pop this as a short answer. So I'm just going to click on here though. Most of the time in any of our forms, we use short answer, we use check boxes, and a couple of the times, especially if we're creating our own waiver for an event, for example, you understand that you are entering this event or this clinic and you need to help pick up rails for your riders group. So a tick box is just it's just a little bit of an extra check to say, hey, remember, we've actually told you that you need to do this. So we're going to use short answer for this one. And I'm not going to click on required for this one, because if someone doesn't have dietary requirements, you could change the question, probably would be a better idea to make the question a little bit more open. But then that is all I'm going to do. So then I'm going to go save. And this is going to save my form. And because I also have that extra ticket that says clinic lunch, I think, so for those supporters, I'm going to create another form, very, very simple, clinic lunch. And so we get to repeat this just so that I can show you guys. So we give it a name, we can choose an icon if we like, add a field, and this one's just going to be a dietary requirement. Do you have any dietary requirements? That took far too long to remember how to spell requirement, and it's going to do a short answer as well. Oh, goodness me. And I'm not going to click on required. Okay, so I'm going to just save that one. So that's how simple it is to create the forms. So as you're getting through doing different forms, as you can see, we've got lots of different forms in our club, and you might be able to use some of those forms over again. And you may choose to come in and create your form first before you actually create your event, or you can do it the way that I've done, is start the event, save it as a draft, jump out and come back in. So I'm going to go menu again, and this time back to event management. So this is the area that all of your information for your events is going to be found. And my new event, PCA Jump Clinic, is going to be at the top. It tells you when it is, and from 7 a.m. and the price and the places. And obviously that has the lunch in there as well. So don't get that mixed up with how many places you may have left. So I'm going to edit my event. So I'm going to jump in there now. And I'm going to go back and scroll down and find my tickets. So here's my tickets. I'm going to go to my advanced options in my little cog. And I'm going to scroll down past the PCA waiver and go to form. And remember, I'm going to add that form. So adding the questions that we've just created on the form. So now I need to scroll down. I think it'll be at the bottom if my memory's correct. There we are. So jump clinic questions 2, because I've already got one of those in our club. So I'm going to click on that. And then you can actually see your questions. There they are right there. Okay, so I'm going to go done, and that ticket is finished. I'm happy with it. Then my clinic lunch, I'm going to go to the advanced options. I'm going to scroll. Oh, and actually I just realized for our clinic lunch, max booking quantity. If you have a rider that has 2 siblings and a mum that's bringing them along, she might like to have lunch for everyone. And it's much easier if she can just do that and select 3 at once. So apologies, I missed that one earlier. We're going to scroll down past our PCA waiver. We're going to add the form. And this time we're going to scroll down to the bottom again. And some of our forms are very extensive and long for our camps. That's why there's so much there. Clinic lunch. And do you have any dietary requirements? And that's it. So if they're dairy-free, they can put dairy-free in there. If they're gluten-free, they can put it in there. If they're allergic to nuts, they can put it in there. And we're going to go done. Now, I'll just scroll down to the last little bit before we have finished our event. Now, notify me, which I went over last week, means that if I put this out now, as it's open, the tickets are open now, we don't really need to worry about that. But if you're advertising your event on JustGo a month before the tickets open, so the nominations open, if someone sees the event and you have notify me ticked, it means that they can click on the notification button and they can actually be emailed when the event opens. So maybe it opens a little bit earlier than what they wrote down in their calendar, then they'll get an email notification. So if you're making sure that your events are on JustGo prior to nominations opening, it's like probably a great idea to do the notify me. If you would like a wait list for your event, please always tick this. Click on that one. And if you, I would never do this because, you know, it's a privacy breach of privacy essentially. If you are only having this, for example, as a club event, and you don't want it public, you are going to click on private, and then you can copy the link and email or share in your closed Facebook groups or however you do that. In my opinion, public's better regardless of if it's just your club members or not, because people are seeing that your club is active. All righty. Manal, are you happy with everything through there?
Absolutely.
Great.
We've covered everything. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to save that now. And so, because of course I didn't put an opening date for my tickets, that is actually open to nominate
And
once I click on publish here. Okay, so as soon as I click on publish, I'm not going to do that because it's not a real event. But then you could then go and search for it in your events and courses up here. So that is where it would be. So you your nomination period's open. You've got nominations coming in. You're excited because your clinic is filling up, and you just want to check who's been jumping in on the clinic and nominating. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go down to our jump clinic and just show you that we had earlier in the year, and show you how to find the nominations and etc. So you're going to go into manage booking, the little people. These are all the people who have nominated for your event. You're going to click on that one. Okay, so we did ours initially. It was going to be over 2 days, but we had to cancel the second day due to weather. So these are all the people that came along to our event. Now I'm just going to scroll and find my children so that I can show you their information. And of course, here they are down here. So this here is the registration form, which is the form you created. So obviously it's not going to be the same form, but it has similar information. So we wanted to know what the writer's age was at the 1st of January, and what club they were going to join, because it was very early in the year. This was late January. And of course, lots of people change clubs in that time. We ran ours morning or afternoon, so you can see these are different. I think these were our multiple choice ones that we used, and our height as well. So we didn't have a lunchtime, so we didn't need a dietary requirement. So if you just want to check and say, all right, well, this person's jumping 70 to 80, then okay, that's fine, and out you go. If they need to change it, so let's say if my daughter decided that she was really jumping 80 to 90, you can go in and change it and then press save. And that would save the information. If you need, like this person here, this is our chief instructor, she had to cancel because her horse got an abscess. So you can actually refund individually through here. You just click on this little button here, and that will give you a refund. And I was surprised the other night I had to refund myself for something, and it was in my bank in 2 hours, which was phenomenal. It just don't happen anymore with refunds. If on the matter of refunds, I went over this last week, but if, for example, your whole event has to get cancelled due to whatever reason, you click on everyone, and then you are going to click on actions, and you are going to refund, and that will refund everyone in one hit, and it's fabulous. I absolutely love that. That is a new, that's new, isn't it, Monel? Because I don't think we could do that before.
It's been included in the recent update, but yeah, last year sometime, about September, October.
Absolutely love it. Okay, now it is 3 days before your clinic, and you want to have a full list of everyone so you can create, like, your nominations are closed, you want to have a full list of everyone and answers to all their questions, and this is how you do it. So I'm just going to untick that. All right, so we're still in the managing the attendees, and we're going to export the attendees. Okay, and if we click on this button, it's going to download. Now, I've pre-done that, and I've taken out all the personal information for other people, and I'm going to just open that up now. But I think, Monel, I'm going to need to stop the screen sharing.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, great. So stop the sharing, open this one up, and then, of course, my screen share again, and I'm going to go to this one. All right, so you should be able to see an Excel spreadsheet around about now.
Yep.
Okay, so all right, I've left my children there and my email. So if you need to contact me, that's my email, everyone. If you want to come visit, there's my address. Okay, now, as you can see on this form, there is a lot of information. Please don't get worried. A lot of this is just the system information, and you don't need to access it. So basically, I have popped in personally what we find in our club is the most important: first name, last name. I've also expanded these because it was easier to show you. Excuse me. Age. So you could go through and you could just delete the entire cell, if entire column, if you really wanted to. If you want to know your information about who's male and who's a female, you can do that as well. We go across here. Ticket name. If you have different tickets like we've just set up, then that's going to play a part, and you can, of course, sort your Excel spreadsheet based on your ticket names. Now, this is the important one here. So if you haven't done restrictions before, this is where you can get caught out, especially at this time of the year, and earlier when people haven't yet joined. So we've got our license name, which tells you that this person's a coach who's writing junior members, senior members, etc. This is actually your club ones as well. Like I said before, our club has specific ones that we've created. It's up to you if you want to, of course, have those ones. This is your big important one here. So I'm going to highlight that whole thing here. Now, this tells you who is a current financial member if you haven't created that restriction. So if we go down here, we can see everyone's active except this person here is expired, and these two people here are expired. So that's when you get on the phone and say, excuse me. Now, what I've personally found is that regardless of when you pull this attendees information off JustGo, this is based on when they nominated. So these people, even though you might say, hey, have you done your membership? If they're not your own club member, you have to ask them, of course. If they have, when they nominated, they might not have been a member, but they might have done it since. But regardless, it will still tell you it's expired, because at the time that they nominated, they were not a member, a financial member. So this is why doing your restrictions is really important. So we're going to scroll across here. I've just taken, the black is just taking out people's personal information. And these here are our questions that I asked, like I showed you. Okay. So our age, the club that they're joining, if they can do morning or afternoon or either, and then the height that they are currently training and competing. Okay, so they're always going to be at the end of your spreadsheet, and that does, of course, help you make your decisions about who's going to be timetabled where. Now I'm going to stop that share and start another share back onto JustGo, because I've just actually realized that I've forgotten to show you guys how to do this if it's not a group lesson, which is really important. So my apologies for doing that, but it's probably a good thing that I'm doing it at the end. So if this clinic that you're running is individual lessons, what you want to do is this ticket is actually going excuse me, going to be called, for example, 7 a.m. And you can still use all those questions. And there's only, of course, going to be one spot if it's an individual lesson. Maybe it's 2 spots. If it's 2 spots, you might really need to say 7 a.m., 60 centimeters. Okay, and then you're going to go through and add another one that's going to say, let's actually, I'll just do that again. 7 a.m., $100, and it is a single. And we're going to click on yes. And then I'm going to do it again because it's going to be an 8 a.m. lesson and it's $100. Now, of course, when you do this, you have to go through and edit these each time. Monel, is there a way, because I haven't found this one, to copy a ticket?
Unfortunately, no. So every time you'll have to create a new one.
Well, it kind of makes me feel better that, I haven't been doing a really long way. So, of course, if you're going to run this the whole way through your day as an individual clinic, so one rider in each, that's definitely not $10. That's supposed to be $100. And guys, you will make mistakes, and I always send it to someone in our club or outside of our club who's trusted to say, hey, can you have a look over this and like pretend to nominate and make sure that everything's right? Work together with your other clubs, and it's really important. You'll make mistakes, and Monel will help you fix them, and you'll figure out how to fix them as well. And that's really important. So I'm just double checking that I've done everything. Let's say we go through and we go save. And when that goes back to the screen that it's supposed to be on. Okay, so this is obviously you're going to publish it. I'm just going to publish it for 5 seconds and then go back. So it's published, it's out there, everyone can see it, and you realize you've made a mistake. Just return it to draft. It's very simple. Easy process, not a big issue. You'll see that our club events that are actually finalized, we have completed those. So you're going to go to, I'll show you this one here that's accepting bookings. We're going to close it for bookings, and then I'd go in and complete it as well. Now, completing it closes the event off completely, and then when you're doing your reporting, which we'll go through in a later stage, then that helps you make sure that everything's finalized and finished. The other thing you can do, as I mentioned last week, if you're going to have, like we had a jumping clinic at the start of the year, and then a month later we had a dressage clinic, we can copy the whole clinic, which is really easy. Absolutely love doing that. Also, I'm going to show you our wait list. So I'm going to show you for what we've got open at the moment, which is our camp. We're going to click on this little guy. We're going to go view wait list, because remember, we've ticked on that box. We always want to have a wait list. And this is a very extensive wait list because our camps are very, very popular, and we've only got a couple people left on the wait list. So these are all the people for all the different tickets. So they've selected specific ticket wait lists. So if you need to contact someone who's on the wait list and say, hey, we've got a spot for you, you've got email. I would absolutely love it if Monel could please add phone number to that. So hopefully we'll get the system amazing people to do that, because I would love to call people instead of just emailing. It's an extra bit of security.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I think that's everything, Monel.
Wonderful. It is everything. You've done a really good job covering everything in detail.
Thank you.
Nikita is our only attendee today.
Oh,
Nikita,
hi.
thank you so much for joining before Easter. We do definitely appreciate a lot of people will be preoccupied with other plans. But how did you feel the private session, Nikita? Do you have any questions that you would like to ask us?
And you'll have to unmute yourself as well, Nikita, if you have any questions, or you can use the chat box too.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Oh, good. I couldn't figure out where to push that button for a minute. Very handy. Thank you both for doing that. I jumped on a couple of minutes late because it's busy time here in my house. But it's definitely something that I wanted to understand more about, because it is not used very much in our club. But yeah, a lot of that I didn't know. I did play around with it for our gymkhana last year, but it's something that I wanted to use more for this year for our musters and different sorts of things. So very handy. Thank you for doing that.
Awesome. That's excellent. Thank you. And it's great that you've jumped on and had a play around and try and figure things out as well. That's really important.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming looking at all of it to start with. And because like you said, thank you for saying it, Chanel, because you don't want to, you publish it and you're like, oh my gosh, have I done it right? Is there going to be an error or, yeah. So yeah, just having you go through it bit by bit and then you making mistakes as well, going, oops, I did that wrong.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
No dramas. So yeah, I think it'd be helpful. And yeah, it's cool.
Yay, that's brilliant. And just touching on the help stuff, if we go into our menu and we go down here, of course, my eyes can't find it right this very second. Help center. There we are. So there are guides for a lot of this as well. And there's also on the PCA website as well, there's some more updated guides as well. But these videos, everyone's a different learner. So some people just learn by playing, some people learn by calling models, some people learn by looking at the guides, and some people learn by having the videos. So yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just have a play around. Nothing in the system will break, and nothing in the system is that we can't fix. So even if you make any mistakes, we'll provide you the support to fix it, and next time you'll do much better. So yeah, break away.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, Nikita.
No worries. Thank you, Chanel.
Okay.
Thank you. Right.
Have a good Easter. Bye-bye.
Bye.